I titled my talk today, Housing as Critical Urban Infrastructure, because I wanted to think about housing beyond just the house and really as a field and an area and where it touches. So this picture here shows you a post-disaster area, but also shows a range of infrastructure from the house itself to the electrical wires to the fact that the house is in some ways holding up the slope. So there's physical aspects and there's others. So housing really, we see it at AHI, and I've been thinking a lot about how it's a connector to many things, how it's a connector and a center of people's physical environment. You spend a lot of time in your house most of the time. It connects your social environment. It's a center of political discussion. It can be a point of political dispute. It is the basis for a lot of legal status for people in cities and urban areas and rural areas as well. And of course, it's a major financial investment, whether you're renting or owning or building. It's a significant part. So it's more than simply houses. It's the physical and social infrastructures that produces those houses. And I think a key point is that housing is really one of the places where our lives connect between the informal and the formal. Even in the formal context of the US, where everyone seems to think they're always in a formal building, I'm sure many of you, particularly the students who are here, are living in apartments that were meant to maybe be 2 bedrooms and have 3 or 4 of you living in them. So those are now informal apartments. And that's centered in housing. So housing is a critical building block of the habitats of the neighborhoods and particularly of cities. It's where jobs go to sleep at night, and it's a center of family life for children, for education, and for growth through multiple generations. So I posit that without housing, you don't have an urban environment. You don't have a city, and you certainly don't have a city that is resilient, because housing is this underlying infrastructure and connects to so many other aspects of residential, urban, family life. And at AHI, we've developed a framework to think about this that we call the housing ecosystem, which has 2 value chains. The demand side, how do people finance their house through a series of 8 steps, which you see on the slide there along the top. And the supply side, how are the physical houses built? And different actors interact with different parts of these steps. Different policies will enable or disable different aspects of these value chains, but the key is they've got to come together at a certain point, and the family has to be able to move into the house in order for that to be an affordable and sustainable housing opportunity. And so we spend a lot of our time looking at how that works and what can be fixed along the steps of the value chains around the world, from post-disaster situations to others. And I'll leave it there.